Okay, so right now we are learning about systems of equations, and in order to find the solution of a system, or meaning just more than one equation, we have to find the number that would fit in the y for both and in the x position for both to make both equations true. So I need the same y number and the same x number to make both equations true. That's what I'm looking for. So one way you can do this is you can graph equations. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to graph the first equation, and then we'll graph the second equation. So in the first equation, as you notice, it's in point-slope form, so y equals mx plus b. And 3 is my y-intercept. So I'm going to start at 3. And if there isn't a y-intercept, then you just start at the origin, or 0, 0. So you're going to go up 2 over 1 because my slope is 2. So that's rise over run, so up 2 over 1. So up 2 over 1, and then if I kept going that way, I would go off the grid. So I'm going to go down 2 over 1 in the opposite direction. Down 2 over 1 in the opposite direction. Okay, now at this point, I've crossed the x-axis, so I'm going to draw my line. Here we go. And I'm just going to label my equation. So my equation for this line is y equals 2x plus 3. Now I'm going to do the equation for y equals 1/2 x. So I'm going to start at 0, and I can go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. But as you notice, I'm going to go up 1 over 2. I'm going to end up off the grid. So I can also go down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2 in the opposite direction. And that is going to give me my line, which will be right here, and that's going to be y equals 1/2 x. So if you notice, we have a crossroad right here. And that point of intersection, POI, is going to be -2, -1. So my point of intersection or solution is -2, -1. Now let's see if that's true, because you always need to double check. So what I'm going to do is, now that we think we found our point of intersection or our solution to this system, we're going to write out our equation. So y equals 2x plus 3 and y equals 1/2 x. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in -2 for my x value and -1 for my y value. So for my x value, I'm going to replace x with -2. And for my y value, I'm going to replace y with -1. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to take y is equal to, well, actually, I'm going to replace my y. And my y value is -1. And I'm going to replace that with 1/2 times -2, which is the x value I want to replace it with. So let's see what happens. 2 times -2 is -4 plus 3 gives me -1. So it's true. That works for that one. Let's see if it also works for y equals 1/2 x. So does -1 equal 2 times -2 times 1/2 would also be -1. So -1 does equal -1. So the solution or point of intersection is correct. And that would be -2, -1.